Welcome back to the South African Morning this Friday. Good to have you with us, celebrating South African women who have dedicated themselves to democracy, especially through the arts. Shui-Lyn White and Christiaan Diedericks are doing just that. They've launched an incredible exhibition along with the Nelson Mandela Foundation. Shui-Lyn joining us now to talk to us a little bit more about this. And I've had a look at some of the images that I've seen on some of the photos. Shui-Lyn, good morning. Good to have you with us. Infinity to the Power of Woman. I think it's probably one of the best titles for an exhibition I've ever heard. Tell me about the name. Good morning.
Well, the name was actually gifted to me by a friend of mine, Lahini Mudley. Christiaan and I were talking about doing an exhibition to celebrate women, and we felt that where we are on the planet at the moment, humanity has reached a finite place. I think for the first time in human history, we're talking about finite resources, how sustainable the way we are on the planet, how long can the human species last on the planet. These are new conversations, and we felt that what was needed was a new way of being, a kinder way of being on this planet, and also a more inclusive way. And if we look at our history on this planet, for most of human history, we have history, which means we have a story that's told from a very singular point of view, which is patriarchal. And we felt that the people who are left out of that story have so much to contribute. And across the globe, that tends to be women. And women bring wonderful dialogues into this human story. And we felt that if we could include that, it would bring about a new way of being. And so if we've reached a finite place, now we felt to reach an infinite place, it would be to women that we'd have to look. So hence infinity to the power of women.
And it's sad that, because you're quite right as well, that based on humanity, we are now a arguably finite species, and it's all because of what we're doing to the planet as a species as well. But when we talk about art, often it's not really forgotten about, but I see the theme for this as well is that women in art and art about women and anything regarding women in the arts are forgotten, but then they're found again. And I see that the word being used was meditating on that as well. So I imagine the artwork is not just there to draw your attention for a couple of moments, but actually trying to draw you in to the idea that it may have been lost, but it's always going to be found again. Is that correct?
Yes, I mean, this is the wonderful thing, I think, also about where we are. It's making people think about our history and how we're going to go forward with it. A lot of the women in the exhibition, our cohort of 8, it was very hard to find images of them. In fact, Alice Victoria Kinloch, who's been rediscovered as the mother of Pan-Africanism, we only had one image of her to work with. And bring her back into a visual sense. It's one thing to talk about all the absences, but to actually recreate their images again and bring them back into a visual language, I think is very powerful because it makes that absence present again. And it's being hosted, this exhibition, at the aptly named Nelson Mandela Centre of Memory as well. There couldn't be a better exhibition centre for it as well. As I say goodbye to you, Shui-Lyn, as well, I'm looking at some of the photos as part of the exhibition. I see it opened last night. How long is this running for? Because I'm sure there's going to be many people who want to come through and see it. How long is it going to be running for? And then as I'm looking at this, and artists hate it when I ask them this question, so I'm going to ask you, Shui-Lyn, is there one piece that stands out for you as you tell me about how long the exhibition will be there? Well, the exhibition is on until the end of February 2023. Which is a great privilege and honour, and we're very grateful to the Nelson Mandela Foundation for hosting it for such a long period of time to get as much exposure for our wonderful cohort. And in terms of which one, I think it has to be ultimately the first one, which is Alice Victoria Kinloch, who was born in 1863 and campaigned tirelessly for human rights and especially miners' rights at that time. And sadly fell into obscurity, and she's not included in any of South Africa's curriculum or history books, and yet she achieved so much.
What a pleasure to have you with us. Just the photo is not doing justice. I think everyone who wants to go through and take a look, to remind them where that is, the Nelson Mandela Centre of Memory. It's wonderful. It's going to be there till February 2023, so no excuse for anyone not to go through. Shui-Lyn White, I really appreciate your time in speaking to us this morning. Nelson Mandela Centre of Memory, that's in Central Street in Houghton, by the way. So if you want to go take a look, you do have time, but go through before the crowds start building. I appreciate the time of Shui-Lyn this morning. The theme, again, to remind you, in case you want to Google it, infinity to the power of woman.